What's up, guys? Bullfather Fell-Handed here, bringing you the Art of the Bat 3. Here we are on the Severgorsk standard battle. Whatever. We are at the northeast spawn. The Reds are at the southwest spawn. We have a Bad Chat and a T-62A, also known as the Midget in the Cowboy Suit. Now, if you are on this board, what you need to do is head as fast as you can to the A1, A2 area, maybe even the B1. In that area, here very shortly, you will see you can cause an immense amount of damage on the Reds if you are in that location. It's difficult for them to shoot you. They are primarily focused with the other greens at the time. Now, of course, this is also assuming you have a few tanks push this area. If it's just you over here, turn around and leave. This also brings me to another point. You never want to get too committed right away. You know, these new Bat Chat drivers, they always, everything everybody remembers is when a BC rolled them. They said, oh man, they came up to me and they clipped me out. Okay, how many times do you actually see that happening a game? It's very situational. In order for it to properly work, you have to be alone, you have to have no support, you know, and he may even get shot. So it's extremely situational, so you don't want to go in trying to roll someone right off the gate and end up getting shut down early or crippled. You know, your half health, third health, what have you. You want to play very conservatively in this tank. You want to treat your health like it is the most valuable thing you have, which of course it is. You lose the health, you're out of the game. So right now we're just kind of picking away at this waffle. Ended up bouncing around. At that angle, he hit my upper plate and it more or less turned it straight into an auto bounce. Anything, you know, over 75 degrees is an auto bounce. That's why you see a lot of people side scraping cities. They try to get that hull in the auto bounce angle. Well, lo and behold, the upper plate was in that angle. They're pretty much shooting it. I mean, you know, you have to take into account the angle he was from me to him, the angle I was on the hill, the angle of the armor itself. Anyway, like I said in a few videos ago, it's all math. I was touched on the subject of rolling people a moment ago, and the most important thing you need to know when you intend to roll someone is what their background looks like. If you run up to roll someone and there's a Death Star sitting 200 meters behind him, well, you've just fucked yourself. Unless that one random shot he fires misses. So you have to be very careful. You need to know what their background is. You need to know a lot of information. That's why I preach the tactical map nonstop. You have to know where everything's at. There's some tanks, you know, the heavies and the TDs, if you look at them on your map, they're generally going to stay whatever area they commit to, more or less the whole game. Unless they end up completely wiping out that flank, then you can assume they're going to go forward. Mediums and lights, on the other hand, are very unpredictable. You have no idea where they're going to be. So that kind of leads us to say, hey, let's not exactly just run out here and start spraying rounds. Because it happened to me when I got this thing. I used to ride my E100 a lot. I got clipped out by Bat Chats, and that's all I thought they did. Was I thought they just drove right up to you, emptied their shit, and left. You can do it, and it's very easy to do. But it like I said, it's extremely situational. I cannot preach that enough. Extremely situational. You have to be very, very careful. Like right now, where we are currently at in this game, it would be a shitty time to do it. Because, you know, you've got so many tanks lit up, you have an idea where the other tanks are, but there's a lot of variables out there. So you have to be very, very careful. In this position, though, we're pulling up, we're getting shots, we're spotting things, you know, we're getting that assisted damage. We're doing everything we can to help our team get numbers. Now, see, we're getting rolled right here, and that's a no-brainer. You never want to roll a Bat Chat. You always want to be loaded. It is your job as a Bat Chat driver to always keep the gun loaded. You never want to roll anyone with anything less than a full clip unless you have to. If there's a chance, you're going to lose out on a kill, or you're going to lose out on damage, or you just want to pull up and put your last couple rounds in somebody or whatever. Like I said, everything in this game, period, is situational, and that of course can be situational as well. But you have to be very, very cautious, because people will go out of their way to shut this tank down. You shut down a good player and a bat chat early, you have saved your team a lot of grief. And that's kind of what the whole goal of it is to become that grief. You want to be a problem in this tank. You don't want to be a pushover. I mean, granted, sure, we all get one shot by Artie. We all get, tracked, fixed, tracked again, then shit on it. It happens to everybody. Everybody has bad games. But, as a player, you want to come through with the reliability. That's what separates the normal players from the good players. The good players tend to be more, reliable, put up numbers more reliably, don't have quite such bad games, end up pulling in more numbers per game. And this goes back to me telling you guys to track your stats. Look at your win 8, look at your daily win 8, look at your win 7, look at your efficiency, see what you're doing, see what you could do better. And what I typically do is, if I die in a match, I think to myself, what could I have done better? How could I have made things better? What else could I have done, to help my team out more? What could I have done to help myself live more? Just totally, what could I have done? And that's what you need to focus on in this. You need to focus on what I could have done better. And in this one, with this Death Star, I fucked this Death Star all up. I'm not sure what I end up doing. I pull up in front of him, or I back up, or something. I don't know what I was going on. I'd love to blame it on lag. I'm not really sure. I was trying to go around the side of him, and then I was like, no, I kind of just want him to ram me, and he obliged. I don't know what I was doing. But, it's like I said, everybody fucks up. It's not a big deal. Everybody makes mistakes. That is what makes us human. If I had to look back on this and decide what I would have done different, I probably should have went up the hill after the away from the Death Star. He would have had to do a complete 180. I'm faster up the hill than he is, and he would have had to pull the hill in order to get to me. He was still 20-25 seconds-ish away from a reload. And then, as you see, there's a pattern right there now. So, if I had to do it over, that's probably what I would have done. And you can even go so far as to recording your games in Xbox DVR and rewatching them. Record like the last 2 or 3 minutes and say, okay, what did I do wrong? How can we fix it? How can we make sure this doesn't happen the next time? You always want to get better. You never want to get worse. You always want to play like you care. You never want to say, I just want to go in there, I don't give a shit what happens. In order to get better, you have to give a shit what happens. You have to get out there. You have to make things happen. You have to use every single thing on this tank to your full advantage. You have to first decide and find out what it has that you can use to its advantage. Speed, mobility, burst, profile, troll front plate, and then you have to utilize these things. You think it was an accident I was on a hill like that? No. I've pulled troll bounces off of flat ground. On a hill, I mean, even more so. So you have to know what you do well and then push that very, very hard. STB, for example, you don't just want to go hull down. You want to get to a position where you can go hold down and bottom out the gun. You bottom out the gun, -10 degrees gun depression. That makes the angle on the turret even more steep, which increases your effective armor by a certain percentage. So you want to take things and extend them. You want to take things and buff them. You want the best for what you have. You want the best out of any situation. And that's what the art of the Bat Chat Part 3 is all about. Getting you to make the best out of your tank and the best out of any situation. You want to use that as a foundation. You want to continue to build on that until you just get better and better and better. Your games are consistently better, and so on and so forth. Guys, this is the Art of the Bat Chat Part 3. Please subscribe, like my video, share my stuff. We'll see you next time.